Hi, actor friends. It's Michael Kostroff, and this week I want to talk to you about one of my least favorite topics, style. Um, I will often work with or coach actors who seem intent on prioritizing the style of a piece, which I think is like building a house by beginning with the exterior paint. At best, you'll just have a shell of something with nothing underneath it. People are surprised when I tell them that in my own work, I give almost no consideration to style or pace or tone because I think these are things that should organically come out of circumstance, character, stakes, objectives, obstacles, the character's worldview, the tactics that the character uses to get what he wants. These things should add up to what we call style, which I think is not something to use in our approach. Yeah. So I have a quote that I want to share from you, for you, not from you. You didn't write it, but for you from Uta Hagen's wonderful book, Respect for Acting. Um, I'm trying to get around to reading all of these classics because I keep learning things from them, and um, I'm going to give you some excerpts from what Uta Hagen had to say in chapter 31. The chapter is called Style. Style is the dirtiest word in an actor's vocabulary. It belongs to critics, essayists, and historians and fits nowhere into a creative process. It is serviceable for catalogs and reference books. But in the act of creation, whether it be a baby or a role in a play, you cannot predetermine style. The many reasons behind most actors' misunderstandings and inaccurate concern with style have made for a chain reaction of centuries of bad acting and empty, tedious, or just plain noisy theater. One reason is the actor's mistrust in his own instrument or ability to bring his own being into full play. Or he has an academic education which he is misusing. Or he has no education and is self-consciously employing empty formulas. A deep-rooted reason springs from the stylized productions we were taken to as children, which conditioned us to accept the manner of performing certain plays. For some of us, the conditioning is so strong that as we grow up, we neither question nor challenge these stenciled preconceptions so that we actually come to believe that predetermined styles for presentation are a necessary part and parcel of the play. Remember that all of the labels you are familiar with, realistic, surrealistic, romantic, satirical, farcical, tragic, comic, naturalistic, classical, neoclassical, avant-garde, theater of the absurd, theater of cruelty, etc., were stuck onto a piece of work after it came into existence, not before. The beat and sound of rock and roll was made before someone named it. Works are categorized by observers, audiences, critics, but not by the creators. Any concern that you have for style will immediately place you on the wrong side of the footlights. To follow a fashion or borrow one from the past, to start with the concept of the outer form, the outer shape, the outer style, is a trap every artist in every art form should guard against like the fatal plague. I love that Uta Hagen doesn't mince words on this subject, and I think it's worth taking her observations to heart. In procedurals, somebody who focuses on style will say, well, you got to just mumble and throw it away and talk really fast. Well, let's reverse engineer that and talk about why. Procedurals are often about people who are very good at their jobs and don't have time to waste. The people who do well in those jobs are able to communicate clearly and without getting lost in emotion, make sure that the idea lands and that it doesn't have to be repeated so we can get on with it. So those are the circumstances, those are the challenges, those are the objectives. If I'm on the police force, I need to be able to communicate there's a bomb on the bus. And I need to be able to do that without going, there's a bomb on the bus! Because if my objective is to take care of the bomb situation, losing my shit doesn't help. It doesn't get me to my objective. What's my objective? To get the bomb squad alerted as quickly as possible and to make sure that it's clear what the circumstances are. There are 6 passengers. one possibly injured. I've got to make sure, yes, I've got to talk fast, and yes, I've got to keep it together. That's how you get to that kind of exchange. On The West Wing, that sort of Aaron Sorkin, we think of it as like throw it away, talk fast, blah, blah. No, the people who get elevated to that role in the White House are able to have a conversation like, hey, did you take care of the, yeah, it's already done. Because they're so smart, they already know what the other person is thinking. So the circumstances call for it. The circumstances of a farce require us to accept without judgment that getting pancakes on the table by 9 is urgent, urgent, urgent. It has to happen now. No wonder the acting gets broad and the style is broad, because we invest in these stakes. They're the most important thing in the world, is getting those pancakes on the table. I got to make sure everybody understands. I'm surrounded by idiots, whatever the situation is. Circumstances, objectives, obstacles, characters' worldview, all of these things come into play rather than style. Those things should get us to the style. Now, that doesn't mean I don't watch the TV show before I audition for it, and I get some sense of the world that it's in, and what it feels like there, and the sort of general approach. But I do not play style. I reverse engineer what makes it spooky on that show. Are characters worried or suspicious or particularly invested in solving a mystery that might make them a little weird and a little spooky? I don't know. We have to figure all that stuff out. But if I just play the style, if I just play the outer shape of it, all you have is a shell, and it doesn't ring true. And at the very least, you shouldn't start there. You shouldn't start there. You got to start with the basic building blocks. Who am I? What do I want? What's standing in my way? What are my tactics that I'm using to get what I want? What's my view of the world? How do I want the people around me to feel? All those many, many questions are how you get to an authentic, believable performance in any style. Ultimately, it's about truth. So I'm so glad that I have Uta Hagen as a backup for my feelings against focusing on style, and I hope that you will take that to heart. It's an interesting topic, though, and I'd love your thoughts on it. Love your thoughts on it. I think we get way too obsessed with that, All right, friends. That was a good ramble. Good talk. Good topic. Share your thoughts. Share these videos. I'll see you next week. All right, bye.